Hey there, boaters. I'm Stacy Hanrahan, and welcome to Monday's episode of The Boaters TV. First up, let's see what's making waves in nautical news. After more than 2 months at the bottom of the ocean, the MS Explorer has been located. Many of you might remember the Canadian cruise ship that sank off the coast of Antarctica after striking an iceberg on November 23rd. Dramatic home video and images of the sinking led to the vessel being dubbed by some media outlets as a modern-day Titanic. But very unlike the Titanic, all 154 passengers and crew of the Explorer were safely rescued. And it didn't take 73 years to locate the Explorer as it did with the Titanic. The Royal Navy is credited with the find. Their ice patrol ship HMS Endurance was asked to search for the wreck while doing survey and mapping work in the area. On its second attempted search, Endurance found the wreckage nearly 2.5 miles from the Explorer's reported sinking position. The exact location of the ship is important for the evaluation of potential pollution and chart updates. For now, it looks like all news is good. The wreck was found at a depth of just over 3,700 feet at the northwest end of the Bransfield Strait, so there's no danger to ships on the surface. And so far, there have been no reports of any noticeable impact on wildlife, according to the International Tanker Owners Pollution Federation. The accident, however, is still under investigation by the London-based insurer Steamship Mutual and the Liberian government. We'll keep you updated on the MS Explorer here at the Boaters TV. Next up, in Bosun's locker, are you a boater who's afraid of the dark? Many people use the setting sun as their cue to throw in the hook or head back to port. I'll admit, cruising at night can be nerve-wracking, to say the least, but it's also my favorite time to be out on the water. There's something about being able to pick out a beacon against the backlights of a bright city or determine the heading of an approaching vessel that makes you feel like a true mariner. But if I said my heart didn't beat faster when cruising at night, I'd definitely be lying. Well, thanks to thermal imaging technology, boating in the dark just got easier. The Navigator II by FLIR allows you to see in total darkness and bad weather. Basically, FLIR vision knocks your vision out of the water. The NAV II lets you see floating debris, land masses, channel markers, other boats, you name it. What if someone falls overboard? Wouldn't you like to have aboard the same thermal imaging technology as the Coast Guard and other military forces use to help locate the victim? The NAV II is easy to use and simply controlled. A joystick allows you to look where you want, left, right, up or down, and you can program a home position to straight ahead, for example. The NAV II works by making pictures from heat rather than light. Everything gives off infrared energy, even in the dark. The hotter something, the more thermal energy it gives off. So NAV II uses this energy to make images that are very similar to what you'd see with a black and white television. FLIR technology allows you to choose if you want hot objects to appear black, white, or red. On top of being useful, I think the NAV II is just plain cool. To learn more about it and other FLIR products, cruise on over to www.flir.com. Coming up in Nautical Know-How, Marine Radios 101. Most recreational vessels under 20 meters are not required to carry a marine radio. My boat is under 20 meters, but you'll never see me leave port without a working VHF radio. Having a radio on board can be the difference between life and death in an emergency situation. But let's start with non-emergency situations. We've all heard the skipper asking for a radio check on channel 16, but radio checks should only be done on working channels, such as 68. And unless you're remaking the movie Smokey and the Bandit, I hope I don't hear you saying things like, "Breaker 19, breaker 19." Do you know the proper language and procedures to use? When talking over the radio, the first rule is to keep it short. A single word is easier to understand than a long-winded sentence. Roger means, I understand your transmission. Wilco means, I understand your transmission and I will comply with your request. Never say Roger Wilco, as you may have heard on the TV show MASH many times. Use affirmative for yes and negative for no. Save nope and yes-er for the telephone. And there is no such thing as over and out. It's either one or the other. Over means I have completed my statement and am awaiting your reply. Out means that I have completed my communication and I am returning to the hailing channel. Channels 9 and 16 are used for hailing only. Once you have contacted a vessel, be sure to move your conversation to a working channel. Another important channel is 22A, that is 22 Alpha. This channel is only to be used by the Coast Guard to relay marine information broadcast. Now this is just a short description of proper radio use. More information can be found online. For example, boatsafe.com has a great summary of frequently asked questions on marine radios. And be sure to tune in to Wednesday's edition of the Boaters TV when I go over using your VHF in an emergency situation. And finally today, it's time to reveal Stacy's TheBoaters.com celebrity profile pick of the day, which is Captain Gerald Schlabach and his 15-foot Mad River Explorer, Kokopelli. Gerald has been fishing the boundary waters in Minnesota for years, and he loves wilderness canoeing and camping. With views like this, I think Gerald's got the right idea. Welcome to the Boaters, and congrats on your celebrity status. And that'll do it for this episode of the Boaters TV. See you back here on Wednesday.